You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Angela Hill takes on Ketlen Souza this Saturday on the preliminary card of UFC Fight Night, Rodrigues versus Cannonier. And this is a good matchup. This is a good test for Ketlen Souza. She's been in the UFC now for a few fights. This will be her fourth fight. Won her last two, lost her first fight against Ketlen Souza. So this will be a good test for both of these fighters. Angela Hill, 40 years old. I think she's 17 and 14 in the UFC. Had a lot of split decisions not go her way. I'd be curious to see how her career progressed if she would have gotten a lot of these split decisions that I feel like she should have. But very good fighter, very experienced. She's 5'4" with a 64-inch reach. Really good striker. Good jab, good feints. Pushes forward, puts a lot of offense out there against her opponents. Has a pretty good chin. Really good cardio, can put a pace on people, kind of like she did it in the Pinheiro fight, which I'll get to, but just tons of experience. The majority of her career has been in the UFC. Been in the UFC since 2014, left for a few years, came back in 2017, and been there ever since. So grew up in the UFC, cutting her teeth against the best. Her last fight against Tabitha Ricci, lost by decision. Tabitha Ricci was just getting the better of her. Going kind of tit for tat on the feet, but she was getting the takedowns and kind of controlling the rounds to get the win. The fight before that against Luana Pinheiro. Pinheiro's a pretty good striker. He's got a lot of power on the feet. And Angela Hill just kind of put the pace on her, caused her to get tired. She started shooting takedowns, couldn't get them, and eventually Angela Hill pulled the guillotine on her and got the finish, which is good because Angela Hill doesn't really have a lot of finishes. She's usually winning or losing by decision mostly in her career, so it's good to see that she's starting to actually get finishes this late in her career. So, and before that, went to war with Denise Gomez and got the win. She had a really good performance in that one. Very good takedown defense against Denise Gomez. Really good clinch work and just really good scrambles to get the decision in that fight. So very big test for Ketlen Souza, who much younger fighter, 29 years old. She's 15 and 4, 5'3", 63-inch reach. So an inch below Angela on each of those metrics, so nothing crazy there. But coming off of a rear naked choke over Yasmin Yorigui, I think her name is, caught her with a nasty left hook, jumped on her neck immediately and choked her out, choked her unconscious. Looked really good in that fight. But the fights before that against Marnik Mann, was landing good shots against Marnik Mann, but really didn't look like she was in danger of finishing her at any time. Was getting taken down by Marnik Mann at times. All around a pretty competitive fight. She did win. She won a decision unanimously, but against somebody like Marnik Mann, and you're kind of a young up-and-coming prospect that they're putting up against Angela Hill, I would expect you to finish somebody like her. Fight before that against Ketlen Souza. Again, Ketlen Souza is really good, an absolute finisher, but she took her down immediately, went for a knee bar. It looked more like a straight ankle lock, but Tapology's saying a knee bar, and she didn't even look to fight out of it, just tapped immediately. So kind of a concerning debut. Honestly, I look at her record before that, decent fighters that she's fighting and beating, but then also, she's losing to a 4-1 opponent by leg kicks. Lost to Ariane Carnellosi, which isn't a bad loss, but fighting a 2-2, 4-4, lost to a 1-3 opponent at the time by armbar. 0-0, 0-1, so just kind of a shoddy record. When I look back at it, I just seeing Ketlen Souza, it seems like on some nights she can be a world beater, other nights she's quitting to a simple knee bar that she doesn't even try to get out of. I'm gonna go with Angela Hill on this one. It's a pretty evens fight, and I know that Ketlen Souza, she's super aggressive. She throws really hard on the feet, has a lot of power. Like I said, she caught Yorigui, who's a good striker, with that nasty left hook, almost put her out with just that one, but she's just very unproven. She's fought in a lot of bums, going to decisions with people like Marnik Mann, who she should be beating. Honestly, I think Angela Hill beats the brakes off of Marnik Mann. Just very lackluster record, and it's hard for me to, by looking at her record and her recent performances, it's hard for me to trust her against such a grizzled veteran like Angela Hill. Angela Hill wins over a lot of good fighters: Denise Gomez, Lupita Godinez, only losing to people like Verna Jandaroba, Amanda Lemos, Tisha Pennington, Claudia Gadelia, Tabitha Ricci, Mackenzie Dern. Like, all of these people are elite female fighters across a multitude of divisions. So in a lot of these fights, she lost by split decision that you could argue that she won. So I got to go with Angela Hill. She's super tough. Probably one of the most experienced female fighters we have ever. Definitely right now in the UFC. And I know she's 40 years old, but it's just hard to count her out. She doesn't take a lot of damage. She doesn't really ever get finished or get hurt on the feet. We saw her get hurt by Mackenzie Dern by a knee. But Mackenzie Dern's super tough, and she hits really hard as well. So I got to trust in Angela Hill to get the better of the striking, mix up her takedown. She's really been using her grappling. It was kind of a big hole back in the day, but she's really been working on closing that gap. As of a few years ago, she was a purple belt, and I know she's been working really hard at it, so I'm sure she's progressing on that. Can't find any info on Ketlen Souza and her jiu-jitsu credentials, but the way that she took the neck against Gregory in their last fight looked really slick. So I can't imagine she's any slouch on the ground. I don't think she would have any success getting Angela Hill down, but I do think Angela Hill might look to mix in her takedowns to kind of open up her overall offense on the feet. But like I said, Angela Hill is just hard to pick against her right now. She's looking really good, only losing to the best of the best, and I'm not convinced that Ketlen Souza is the best of the best. She does have neck tattoos, which is super intimidating. It makes me want to pick her just for that, because it's kind of terrifying, but I'm going to go with Angela Hill to get this one done. I think she'll win a decision. Again, she's a decision machine. I don't see her finishing Ketlen Souza. I don't see her catching her on the feet with anything super powerful. She doesn't really carry the most power. She's just kind of more of a volume puncher, and she'll outstrike you and out technical you and beat you with volume. And I don't see her, taking down Souza and subbing her. So I think she'll get the better of her on the feet and keep it standing and win this one by decision. But again, very close odds. Angela Hill -125, Ketlen Souza +100. So got to go with the experience and the proven durability and skill set of Angela Hill over Ketlen Souza, when we just don't really know who she is yet. So let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you watching.